In a universe governed by strict laws of physics, what if I told you there's an anomaly, a type of psychological trauma so profound it seemingly defies every known scientific explanation? Imagine a suffering that isn't born from physical injury, emotional abuse, or even the most horrifying witnessed event. No, this trauma, the echo, as some researchers tentatively call it, emerges from an experience that by all accounts simply shouldn't be possible. It's a wound on the psyche, a scar on the soul, caused by something that never actually happened in our reality. How can a nightmare manifest into tangible, debilitating psychological distress without a single real-world trigger? To understand this unsettling phenomenon, we need to peel back the layers of our accepted reality. For decades, psychology has meticulously categorized trauma, linking it to identifiable stressors: combat, natural disasters, accidents, abuse. These events, however horrific, leave empirical traces, but the echo leaves no such trace. Its victims present with classic PTSD symptoms: intrusive thoughts, vivid flashbacks, debilitating anxiety, nightmares, emotional numbness, and hypervigilance. Yet, when probed, when painstakingly guided through therapeutic recall, the trigger event they describe is utterly fantastical, impossible, often cosmic in scale. They aren't fabricating, they aren't delusional, they are genuinely deeply traumatized by something that, from our objective viewpoint, never occurred. It's as if their minds have fractured, not from observing a horror, but from experiencing a horror that exists outside our dimension. This isn't a delusion where someone believes they are Napoleon. This is a delusion where an individual is suffering from the documented physical and mental aftermath of a war that never happened. The first documented cases began subtly, dismissed as atypical presentations of known disorders. In 2007, a woman in rural Idaho, Sarah Jenkins, reported waking up screaming, convinced she had just survived a collapse of the sky. She described shimmering, impossible colors, a terrifying silent roar, and the sensation of being stretched thin, pulled apart at a subatomic level. Doctors diagnosed acute stress disorder, later depression and generalized anxiety. But her symptoms persisted, unresponsive to conventional treatments. She constantly scanned the horizon, fearing the return of the shimmer. A year later in Kyoto, Japan, a salaryman named Koji Tanaka began experiencing similar night terrors. He spoke of an unraveling, a tear in the fabric of sight. His account eerily mirrored Jenkins's, despite them living continents apart and having no conceivable connection. He described being witness to a reality bleeding, and the subsequent panic attacks would leave him catatonic. Neurologists found no anomalies. Psychiatrists struggled to categorize the precise nature of their delusions. They were not hallucinating present events. They were reliving a past, impossible catastrophe. The common thread was a deep-seated, unshakable conviction that they had personally witnessed the universe itself, bending, breaking, or unraveling in a way that should be scientifically impossible. Their memories weren't merely vivid, they were visceral, detailed, and utterly unshakable. They reacted to cues from their impossible trauma as if it were a real physical threat, demonstrating intense physiological responses: elevated heart rate, profuse sweating, constricted pupils, whenever they recalled fragments of these non-events. How could a mind conjure such detailed, vivid agony from thin air and then physically react to it? But things took a darker turn when these isolated cases began to multiply. By 2015, reports surfaced in major psychological journals, often anonymously, hinting at an increasing number of patients struggling with unexplained cosmic dread. The term "the echo" was coined by an anonymous online medical forum, a grim nod to the idea that these experiences were echoes of something beyond our perception, reverberating into our reality. Researchers, often working in shadows to avoid ridicule, started noticing patterns. Victims consistently described feelings of existential vertigo, a sense that the fundamental rules of reality were conditional, tenuous. They spoke of impossible shapes, colors that burned, and a pervasive sound of silence breaking. Most disturbingly, a significant minority of these individuals described specific details that, while still impossible within our reality, overlapped with chilling precision. One victim in Brazil spoke of the crystal void. Another in Germany mentioned the crystalline absence. Both described a moment where the very concept of space fractured, revealing a geometric, impossible nothingness that left them feeling eternally disconnected. This wasn't a cultural artifact, it was a spontaneously generated shared nightmare. The psychological community was utterly baffled. Is collective delusion now taking on the symptoms of true PTSD, or were these people tapping into something far more disturbing? Secret global forums emerged, frequented by therapists and mental health professionals who, in hushed tones, desperately sought answers. They shared anonymized patient records, trying to find statistical anomalies, any common environmental factor, a virus, a new form of radiation. Nothing. No common geographical location, no shared socioeconomic background, no specific age group. The echo was an indiscriminate architect of terror, striking down seemingly random individuals across the globe, leaving them with the indelible mark of an experience that defied logic. The sheer consistency of these impossible memories across disparate cultures and individuals began to suggest that this wasn't mere coincidence or psychiatric illness. It hinted at something far more profound, something that whispered of a crack in the very foundations of our existence. What they discovered next changed everything. A clandestine consortium of neurologists, theoretical physicists, and experimental psychologists, operating under the pseudonym Project Chimera, began correlating the reported echo events with anomalies detected in deep space. Utilizing advanced AI pattern recognition, they cross-referenced the precise dates and fragmented descriptions from echo victims with fluctuations in cosmic microwave background radiation, gravitational wave detections, and even highly theoretical dark matter wave events. The breakthrough was terrifying, a statistically improbable correlation. Specific, impossible memory events in echo victim reports coincided, down to the minute, with inexplicable fleeting energy signatures detected in exotic corners of the universe. It was as if these individuals were sensing, or even briefly experiencing, events that were not happening within our local space-time, but rather in a parallel or higher dimension, or perhaps during a momentary tear in our own reality. The most chilling discovery centered around what some Project Chimera researchers called the event horizon fracture. Dozens of echo victims from every continent had described experiencing a singular, identical moment, the sensation of reality being peeled back like an onion skin, revealing a vast, infinite construct of impossibly interwoven geometries, a hyperdimensional grid that underpins our universe. They all felt a crushing realization that their individual consciousness, their very existence, was merely a microscopic data point within this colossal, indifferent, and utterly alien structure. It was the ultimate existential horror, the universe as a machine, and their minds, for a brief, agonizing moment, unplugged and seeing the true, terrifying blueprint. This memory was so consistent, so overwhelmingly detailed, and so utterly alien that it could not be dismissed as a collective fantasy. It was too specific, too abstract, yet too visceral. It implied that all echo victims, regardless of their location or background, had momentarily connected to the same impossible event, a brief glimpse behind the veil of our perceived reality. This wasn't trauma from a physical event, but from a revelation, a truth too immense and terrifying for the human psyche to process. To this day, the echo remains an unsolved, terrifying enigma. Is it a testament to the fragility of our shared reality, a warning that the universe is far stranger and more hostile than we can possibly fathom? Are these individuals merely experiencing collective delusions, or have they, for reasons unknown, become accidental voyeurs into a cosmic truth not meant for human eyes? The implications are staggering. If trauma can be generated by non-existent events, what does that say about the nature of consciousness, memory, and the very fabric of our being? Could the echo be a harbinger, a subtle tremor indicating a much larger, more catastrophic shift in our understanding of existence? Perhaps we are not as safe, not as isolated in our reality as we like to believe. The universe, it seems, is capable of inflicting wounds that shouldn't exist, trauma born from a truth too profound to comprehend. And what happens if the echo isn't just an echo, but the first whisper of a scream yet to come? If you want more mysteries that challenge the boundaries of our understanding, the next video explores. And with call to action, tease next video.